Horses and their handlers often suffer from improper tying techniques. In this Horse Sense segment, AQHA professional horsewoman Nancy Cahill shows us how to tie your horse the right way.
Horses and their handlers often suffer from improper tying techniques. Today we're going to try to show you some good ways to tie your horses up and also to educate you on some of the bad ways to tie them that might get you in trouble. Before you ever tie a horse up, the first thing you need to do is make sure you tie him with a proper halter and lead rope. Make sure your halter fits properly. It needs to catch him up under the jaw. It's not too tight. He can't get it off, and it's not cutting him in the nose. Secondly, the lead rope doesn't need to be frayed. It needs to be a good solid, usually nylon or cotton will do. As long as they haven't chewed on it, it works. Make sure also that your snap isn't corroded, because a horse can break just about anything. When you've got 1,000 pounds pulling on it and it really wants to get away, it will if it wants to. Let's discuss a secure place to tie your horse. Here we have a stall wall that's quite secure, but there are better places to tie this horse than this skinny bar right here. He could, if this was corroded on either end, pull it down. So let's talk about tying him to the more secure bar. We have two choices here. We can tie him to the lower part, which is high enough if you tie him short enough to keep his feet from going over, or we could tie him up higher, and that way his feet are very far away from this lead rope. The reason this stall wall is quite secure is because of this bar. It's in the ground, in concrete, and if this horse were to pull back, it at least pulls it against that bar, so you have quite a secure place to tie him. I use basically 2 knots to tie my horses. One a slip knot, which will tighten down if the horse sits back, or a bowline, which does not tighten, and you can always untie no matter how hard the horse pulls on it. When we tie this horse to the bar we've selected for security, we're going to pay attention to where his head and neck come out. He's very comfortable right here. His head's not hung. We're not going to hang it. We're not going to tie him too low where he gets in trouble. He's happy here. So this is where we start. We're going to take our lead rope around our secure bar, take a small flip with my left hand. I go behind the piece that comes from the halter, come up from the back, pull it snug, take my tail, run it through the hole so that horse can't untie himself. If he sets back, this knot is going to tighten up, but you'll only get this much extra slack and he's still tied short enough. Our second knot is the bowline. It's a little more complicated to tie, but if a horse sets back, it never tightens up. You take the piece that comes from the halter before it goes around our bar. We're going to take the end of the lead rope, run it straight through the hole, then come back from the top, run it back down through the hole, and then pull and tighten. That's all the extra slack you're going to have, and this knot won't tighten up if he sets back. Even if he does set back, this piece is very easy to loosen, and you can always untie him. Before you tie your horse up, you need to troubleshoot a little bit and pay attention to what might be in the surroundings where you tie him. In this case, the pin that holds this stall together is an innocent bystander until it locks and your horse tries to put his leg by it. You'll scrape a lot of hair and a lot of skin and possibly do worse damage if you tie him close to this pin.
Nancy also cautions against tying your horse to objects like truck mirrors, wash rack plumbing pipes, feed carts, or other items that could harm your horse or cause some trouble when your horse decides it's time to move somewhere else.